All right, ladies and gents, welcome to a 1v1 low elo legends Age of Empires 2 between the Ottoman army and the Roman Empire. That's right, this is a ranked game. This is live. This is happening right now, and I looked at their profiles, and they both have played like 100 plus games. This is not rigged. This is not something they set up for my benefit, I don't think, because how could they? They queued up for a game, and it ended up being the Roman Empire versus the Ottoman army. In the red, we have Ottoman army playing as the Turks, which is nice, is instantly building 5 houses. And then in the blue, we have the Roman Empire playing as the Aztecs. Now, I just said to my viewers here that I am not too well off when it comes to historical knowledge, but I'm not a complete nincompoop when it comes to knowledge of history, and I know that this is not so accurate. But I am still excited to see who wins between the Roman Empire and the Ottoman army. I'm sure a lot of historical jokes or references will be made, but maybe just in the comments and not by myself. Now, I've seen a lot of interesting starts. I have seen the 1-house start. I have seen the 3-house start. I've seen the 4-house start, but I've never seen the 5-house start before. So Ottoman army has their own way of opening in the game. Should also mention that Ottoman army is at like 470 elo, and Roman Empire is at around 520 or 530. So the Roman Empire definitely is ahead right now in terms of skill. Civ-wise, I think this could actually work out for the Turks. Normally lacking pikemen is a bit of an issue with the Turks, but lacking pikemen isn't as much of an issue when the civilization against you cannot make horses. So I guess we'll see. Anyways, right now, blue bringing in boar number 1. Not the most efficient boar lore ever, but a boar is brought in nonetheless. And red is all over their straggler trees right now. Just recouping some of that wood from the early houses. Taking those stragglers. The map is Arabia. Map is pretty open. Also, I freaking hate how we went back in time and added pawns to wood lines. Can I get an amen? It bothers me. I don't know why this happened. Like one every now and then isn't the biggest deal. But I even think about it from a learning player's perspective. This is just -1 wood line here. I don't understand why that's there. This, I guess, isn't that big of an issue. But I personally would hope that the devs would maybe phase out some of the water from the wood. Or at least make it so, the pawns are maybe closer to the corners. But I will say this. It does add a little bit of variety. A couple extra things to look at. In theory, a little more strategy. So it's not that bad. Someone says they miss cliffs. That's an interesting talking point, too. There's no more cliffs on Arabia. They've made a lot of changes to Arabia. Someone out there is going to be like, can we focus on the Ottomans and the Romans and the historical context, please? I'll try. But yeah, the reason we're talking about it is because Arabia has been changed a lot over the last 12 months. Look at the scouting here. Both scouts heading out over to the east. This Eagle Scout is nowhere near home base. And then you've got the scout from the Ottoman army. This seems to be manually controlled, and I believe that blue has clicked the button. I believe that is blue clicking auto scout. And, if red is manually controlling this, did red see this to click this? Red did. Wow. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting, because an eagle will beat a scout in a 1v1 in Dark Age. You can see the stats here. 4 attack versus 3 attack and the starting HP. However, blue probably heard the probably heard the attack noise, and the Romans are now all confused because it's an Aztec horn, and they're like, what? That sounds so different from what we're used to here. Or maybe the eagle is an outcast now. I don't know, but I guess blue is running home right now, not realizing that it could have turned around and taken the fight. And let's see if red actually reacts. And red... Oh no. Oh gosh. Well, not going so good for the Turks right now. Well played. I have to say, well played from blue. Right after I said that, I noticed that blue has 0 food underneath the TC and is now mining gold next to some llamas and some deer. So I'm still a little confused on blue's situation. But that was a nifty little trick to run back to the TC. Red probably just forgot about it. And red is making a barracks now. And must have just finished a boar over here. Yeah, this is some Lel content. Forget about the build orders, okay? These players see the game a bit differently than you and I. They hate lumber camps, because why would you make lumber camps when there's free trees next to your town center? Good job from red, though, to take the boar. I like that. And red really likes houses. And I guess red is trying to use the houses as part of a wall. I guess if there's a wall here, eventually it could end up looking pretty good. It's still a little awkward, though, I'd say. Okay, plan for blue. Okay, chopping some trees. Nice. Taking gold in Dark Age, which, you know, you start with extra gold as Aztec, so if you're not going to spend that right away, feels like blue is saving up for something. And then blue's eagle is back and auto-scouting, I think. Yes, it is. So that's going to be probably 100% of the map scouted for blue, which is going to lead to blue having a really high score. You think red has been housed one too many times, right? Red probably got housed enough times where red just is done with it. And I'm finished. Okay, so all the vills now have to walk around the houses. And they are going to where? Okay, red really wants to chop that straggler tree because it doesn't look good. These villagers can't decide on a job. Okay, so these villagers go to stone. So I don't know, maybe saving this very safe backstone for later? Yeah, the efficiency is going to be rough here. This is not the best spot for a lumber camp, but at least it's a lumber camp. Where are these villas going? I'm guessing these villagers will go to gold. I think red is trying to save the main gold and the main stone for later. I think that's the outlook. Yeah, we've seen that strat before. Okay. Blue has more villagers. Blue's still in Dark Age. Blue has some pretty farms over here. So now I'm thinking that blue will be going for some type of a fast castle play. And to be honest, blue has just played better than red, both with the scout, but also with, I think, the eco layout. And so pressure's kind of on for red. I don't know what red will do here. The Ottoman army. I love this, though. Can anyone else appreciate how red is playing with the Turks as the Ottoman army? That's really cool. Like, okay, maybe this is the first time out of 100 games that Roman Empire didn't play as like, I don't know, the Italians or something. But red, you might not win this game, but you're winning at life. Okay, let's put it that way. I guess there could be quite a few civilizations that you could select, right, for the Roman Empire, possibly. Eagle Scout's still working. You get 100 points per 10% of the map scouted on the in-game score. It'd be Byzantines. Yeah, Turks versus Byzantines. 1453. I remember that. It's funny, actually. So I'm not too good when it comes to history, despite sinking all of my life in Age of Empires. I just don't remember significant details, I guess, which means I'm bad at history. Yeah. And we had this thing called a co-op challenge. We did it a few years back. I've done many of them on my 24-hour streams. And anyways, the premise is we have myself, Dave, and then our guest star controlling the same point of view. So we're playing the game and we all can control the same thing. And then we're up against Dux at that time, who's one of our mods here. And Dux was Byzantines, and I think we were Turks. Or was it Turks versus Byzantines? Anyways, I forget. At one point, Dux said something about 1453. And I just acted like I knew what was going on. And at that point, people didn't know me as well as they know me now to call me out for that. Holy houses! And he can't just go for the straight line. He has to go for the weaving houses. My goodness, red is never going to get housed. So anyways, that was where I first learned. I quickly Googled 1453 to find out what happened that year. To be honest, T90, history is more about your ability to analyze the importance of events and your ability to remember names and dates. I don't know if anyone else can relate, but I find certain things in life very interesting and very intriguing. I love to hear about it, but I don't retain a lot of that information. And that is how I am with history. Like, history was my favorite class in high school. History was my favorite class in college. But I just really struggled with retaining the information. Doesn't mean I didn't find it interesting, but I don't know. Okay, let's start making bets on how many houses Red is going to make in this game. And also, what is this line going to turn into? Is he going to, like, make this line all the way to the edge of the map? He's made a militia. Of course, Red lost a scout earlier, right? So he's probably a little concerned. He wants this militia to protect everything. Man, I mean, we have to see. But overall, Roman Empire is looking a whole lot better than just 60 elo ahead of Red. That said, getting archer armor right now, which doesn't seem too relevant to anything, but that's not the biggest deal. 2 minutes of TC idle time as opposed to 4. Is now actually adding an archer range. Has good eco upgrades. I don't know, man. Red is a unique kind of player, let's put it that way. Oh, made militia to go after the eagle. And the eagle escaped. No, Red walled it in. Let's go, baby. Oh, man. History is all about your ability to remember what the experts say is important about important and key dates and events in history. No one wants your analysis, says Tim. Are you saying my analysis or are you saying historians' analysis? Because I think both of them are wrong. Like, I think analysis from historians can sometimes be interesting. I think my analysis could sometimes be interesting, but I think both could also be a bit excessive at times, you could say. Well, I'll tell you this right now. What Red wants to do is Red wants to drop a castle. Red has been on stone for a very long time. I forget where. Oh, yeah, out here. And Red wants to drop a castle in the next stage and make a lot of janissaries. Over here, we've got Blue, and Blue hit Castle Age, and I was thinking, all right, Blue's going to just win this game. He's going to make archers, deny a castle. But now I'm reminded, okay, so while Blue's done a really good job with many aspects of the game, Blue isn't dropping a castle yet. Blue isn't making any army, so Red might be fine here. Red is going to click up to Castle Age and has more stables now. I'm like really confused on what Red's plan is. I guess Red is like, well, I need these buildings, right? I'm going to need houses, and I'm going to need stables, so I'm going to use it as part of a wall. I just never seen a player do it so squiggly like this, you know? Like, what you could have done in theory is you could have gone... Like, how many houses is this? Yeah, that's 23 houses. You could go house all the way out to here, and then your stables. You could protect more of your base. You could go, like, 5 houses here instead of 10. But at the end of the day, Red does seem to have a plan. I mean, there's still going to be a hole on the pond, which is going to take some experience, but... Okay, Red's like, no, we're opening up the gap. Yeah, block it up, baby. Block it up. Make a blacksmith there. And that's going to be a continuous problem for Red if Red continues to chop this wood. Right, we have a defensive castle for the Aztec player. And the eagle stopped moving. So maybe it wasn't auto scout. This has to be auto scout though, right? He must have just turned it off or clicked it. Definitely better eco for Blue, both with upgrades and with eco numbers, but it's not that significant. It's a blocksmith, thank you, yeah. I can't see this entire message right now. Arthur says, T90, fun fact about this matchup, there was a guy who made amazing and gigantic cannons and tried to sell them to the Byzantines. They laughed at him, so he sold them to the Ottomans/Turks. They used those cannons to sack the Byzantine capital. See, I've never heard that story before, and you could have just made that up. But it does sound specific enough where that's not a made-up story. Maybe it's one of those things that's the accuracy of it is disputed, you know? If I know my YouTube comments later on, there's going to be some people who know a whole lot more than you and I do right now, so they're going to dispute that. Is that true? Okay, I never heard that one. It's true? It's not disputed whatsoever? Because listen, You know, some people just wanted to go down in history. They could have just made that up. Okay, we've got a monastery. Suddenly people are questioning whether any of my stories are true after claiming that could have been made up. Aztecs get 33% more. Oh my god! Red! Oh my god! I love him! I love it! I thought he was going to make a castle with all this stone. So wait, we have this squiggly wiggly house wall over here. Which I have to say, it looks real cool. You know, like I haven't quite seen anything like this. And then he's gone for the Great Wall, which is going to be built with one villager. I'm trying to pick out the point in the game in which this would ever be completed. I'm going to say 33 minutes. I think it'll take 6 game time minutes for this to be completed. Now, what I was hoping for Red was to see some Ottoman army, not some Ottoman walls or Ottoman houses. I thought we would see a castle and then some janissaries. We have not seen that, and Blue is wisely using this time to consider getting the relics because you get 33% more gold per relic. And Blue also sees some of these relics. It's an interesting wall, too, because it doesn't really massively secure more resources. Okay, we have another villager helping now. But, like, if you wall this way, for example, you get extra gold and stone. It would almost be worth it to just wall across the center of the map at this point. I've never asked, but why is game time different than real time? It's to confuse people. I forget the actual explanation as to why it is different. To make matters even more confusing, though, okay, Town Bell there from Ottoman Army. He's like, oh, maybe I need some army. He freaked out. He's going to add a 3rd TC. Yeah, to make matters even more confusing, so this time runs at 1.7. So game time is 1.7. Real time is 1.0. But when the HD edition came out, which is prior to the... So, okay, so let me back up. Okay, so little history when it comes to Age of Empires. That stuff I remember. So you had the original game, right? Age of Kings, Age of Conquerors. And when you played on normal, it said 1.7. No, I screwed it up already. It said 1.5, okay? But that was wrong. They got it wrong in the original. And it actually said 1.5 speed, but it ran on 1.7, okay? So this is important. So then HD came out. The biggest cash grab known to man. It brought me back to the game, but honestly, they sold like 5 to 10 million copies, made tons of money, never improved it, never had servers. Anyways, that's a whole different conversation. So HD came out, and they weren't informed on the game to know that the original, and I suppose this is understandable, said 1.5, but actually ran on 1.7. So we were playing on the original on a platform called Voobly, and then HD would feel so slow to us because their 1.5 was actually 1.5 instead of 1.7. Is this making sense? So then when the definitive edition came out, they then knew that because they're like, oh, we're going to pay attention to our community now and do it right with DE. And so now it says 1.7. So yes, it is correct that HD was on 1.5. But it is very confusing as Red is still making more and more walls. That whole speed discrepancy there. And I think they now have, if you want to play 1.5, you can, and they have it listed as casual. I think it says casual on the drop-down options for speed. So this is normal, but then casual is 1.5. And you've got slow, and then at the top of it, you got fast. So Red is, Red is making quite an empire here. Now, there are some negatives for Red. I think the main negative right now is that Blue has been able to just secure all the relics. You can see Blue looking for them now. The Blue looking for the relics also benefits from having those relics hugely here with Aztecs. 3 relics in. The 3rd relic just got dropped off, and you can already see the amount of gold brought in is, okay, I thought he had them longer. Never mind. That doesn't look like a lot, but obviously that trickles up. Blue really hates new lumber camps, I've noticed. But Blue loves farms. and is floating enough wood anyways. So blue's got really solid economy right now. And odds are blue is going to have all the relics in this game. Red made some light cav or made a light cav, and now he's sending them out. Look, this is like Ottoman army feels like a player who doesn't know like waypoints exist, for example. But he's just kind of clicked his units to the corners. That's fine. And now the militia have found some llamas, which is very confusing. And Red's like, you can take the llamas back. I don't want to eat enemy meat. This is probably poisoned. There goes our third kill of the game. I don't know where he's sending the llamas right now. But he is scouting. Yeah, and I guess in Red's defense, when he made these walls, he didn't actually have the scouting to know that there were other resources out here. Could have obviously made some, but didn't really think about that. 82 villagers for both. Are you guys pumped or are you guys pumped? Who's going to win? The Aztec Roman Empire or the Turkish Ottoman army? I'm personally rooting for Red just because of the historical consistencies here. And Blue has at this point scouted some of those walls and is now probably a little worried. That's never fun to see. You're like, ooh, how do I break that? Be kind of funny if he just breaks a house, but oh, also there is a hole here, I believe. I believe the army can run right around the pond and through here, right along the shoreline. Yeah, fortified walls now. And guys, I always felt like fortified walls looked really cool for the Aztecs. Would you agree? Actually, I don't know. I don't even know if it's that different than other civs, but there's something satisfying about these fortified walls. I don't know. I remember playing on the scenario growing up. I would play with Aztecs a lot because I like Jaguar Warriors, so it must be a nostalgia thing for me. TC on this gold. Great job from Blue. I wonder if Blue really wanted to wall this game or Blue saw Red's walls and said, ooh, that's a great idea. Okay, more stables. If Red goes into a ton of Hussar spam, Hussars can be real good against Aztecs. Because Aztec Arbalests, while they are great, they're not fantastic. Because I think they lack Thumb Ring, right? And I think they also lack the final armor. Or wait, do they get Thumb Ring? I know they lack the final armor because this tells me. Anyways, I forget. Either way, I know they're not fully upgraded. Eagle Warriors are a great raiding unit, which you can't really do with walls, right? But Eagle Warriors, they don't do that great against Hussars cost effectively. Jags would probably own the Hussars, to be honest. But I mean, Hussar is just a unit that is upgraded for free for you with the Turks. You get the Hussar upgrade when you arrive to Imp. And it only costs food, and you can just spam a million of them. So I think Hussar is pretty good against Aztecs. Obviously, Aztecs could make some pikes that are very pointy with their 4+8 attack with full upgrades. But I still don't mind Turks here. Yeah, you're right. The middle stable is going to be trapped. This is a classic thing. Where he's going to produce stuff from the stable, and he's not going to be able to get anyone out. I've had that happen before. Geez, this is a lot of military buildings here. And all the blacksmiths for Ottoman army. He's getting ready here. Did Blue make a gate? Nope. We're staying in here and we're never leaving. Okay, here come the crucial upgrades. We haven't really seen what army Blue wants to push with yet. If he's going to push, there's no gate. There's no way to get out. It's full defense here from the Aztec Romans. But yes, we're going to see Garland Wars, so that gives your infantry +4 attack. That is, of course, before all the attack upgrades you can get from the blacksmith. And he's getting ranged upgrades. Looks like he wants to make skirms right now. But guys, there's a massive difference with army buildings right now. Okay, and he's going to fix it. So he's going to have 10 archery ranges after this. Very casual about it, though. And can we get some stonks in chat, maybe? Red, you need to go up to Imp! Go up to Imp, man. Go up to Imp. Now got archery ranges. Please don't make skirms. I just have a feeling that Red's the type of player to make skirms with Turks. They don't get elite skirm. And please don't make spearmen either. Turks the only civ to not get elite skirmisher and to not get pikemen. They pretty much rely on gold. But they do. Oh, there's a hole here. There's a hole. And red's in. And could just die to the castle. Yeah, we'll just die to the castle, so that's completely fine. Blue now knows about that hole and is going to... Oh, no, it doesn't plug the gap. They can now run around this way. So to anyone that was saying, why don't we want pawns? Well, this is why, man. But to be honest, like, how long have you guys been back to the game? A lot of you guys are going to say 2 to 3 years. Oh, wait a second. This is awkward. Because I think my stream just went down. I'm still recording. 1 second, YouTube. Aha! Hold on. I love you guys. 1 second. It was the Ethernet cable. Oh my gosh. Everything's back just like that. No way, man. I gotta get back online for the people who want to see this live right now. Oh, that's so annoying. Well, this is gonna be an amazing showdown. Let's see, am I back right now? I think we're back in business. Okay, hello people. Welcome back. I don't know if chat's actually gonna work for you guys right now. Is it the refresh? Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, guys, my Ethernet cable just fell out randomly, somehow. And we're back in business. And somebody just said, I wonder if Blue made a gate by now. Good question. There's no gate. Oh, Blue has made a gate here on the very side of the map. Well, both players are going to overchop their little bases. Okay, we've got another gate on this side. Isn't this just classic Lel, though? Are you guys loving this, or are you loving this? This is amazing. And I mean, we've got red with his knights right now that have 0 upgrades. 0. Despite having how many blacksmiths? 3. We've got knights that are trapped and can't escape. And I guess eventually red will have to delete the stables to free them. We have the Ottoman Empire versus the Roman Empire. But just look at that gold count. That gold count is insane for blue. I do still have my concerns for blue because I don't know what blue's going to do beyond making skirmishers here. Also, to the people who were here on the stream, you guys will get to see the recording was still going. Because my gaming PC, where I'm doing all the stuff I'm doing right now that you guys can see, everything was still fine. So you guys will get to see the awkward 3-minute phase where I was trying to figure things out. It's always an interesting balance between streaming and YouTube, right? I wanted everything to be maintained. I think we're still good. First thing blue does, after I mention the one-sidedness of the potential comp, is research Elite Jaguar Warrior. Nice. Okay, all right. A castle here, protected by 2 militia. The classic fast imp into militia castle drop. And blue sees this, and blue is none too pleased about this. And it was a sneaky move from red. I guess red wanted to secure the stone. That is not going to work, especially because the militia have 0 upgrades, which is, I mean, it wouldn't make a difference. There's still militia at the end of the day. Blue has full upgrades. Does he have a ladle yet? Yes, does have a ladle, which gives this skirms extra range and attack. A very strong skirmishers, but of course hussars are very good against that. Or in this case, knights. But no! Ottoman army! Upgrade yourself! This is such an amazing army! With 0 upgrades, not even bloodlines out of the stable. Okay, now you've got Cavalier. Blue, trying to do a very wise thing here, wants to wall it in. But blue is going to lose all those skirmishers, despite there being no upgrades yet. And blue is forced to run away, and that wall-in is not going to work. Blue will have to abandon the area. And we'll see if the Ottoman army wants to send in some villagers to maybe complete that castle. Now, the knights, unfortunately, are dying to skirmishers. You know, it's not an army you should ever really lose knights to, but I'm hoping that red will remember the blacksmiths are there, because red knows blacksmiths are important and probably was thinking about getting a lot of upgrades at the same time. This is not an uncommon thing to see players make that many blacksmiths. Now, what this does for blue is this should say, hey, your skirmishers are not good here. You need something else. But what does blue do? Blue is now making jags. This is where it gets tricky. Infantry is countered by gunpowder. So, Jaguar Warrior Skirmisher, I believe, should die to Cavalier Janissary, assuming upgrades are in. There's no upgrades. This is a big, big problem. There are upgrades missing as well for the infantry, if we're being fair. See blue upgrading some things at the barracks. Might spam some pikes at some point, or some eagles. But my goodness, what a game we have. Feels like we are very far from the finish here, too. Red, no siege. Just happy to fire over top of the walls here. Janissaries really do hold their own. You'd be surprised if we're talking numbers like that. But everything that red is making relies on some gold. That is not the case for blue. And blue has 9,000 gold in the bank. All right. This is great, though. I mean, this is amazing. Hey, this would be the perfect time for red to fall back and get blacksmith upgrades. Red's looking at home to do something, right? Maybe this is a... Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, one villager. This is what red was doing. Sneaky, sneak, sneak. Great job from blue to extend the walls, realizing the overchop happened. But here comes Michelle. Just going to casually make some stables and siege workshops. I like it. Additional fortifications for the Romans. Something they specialized in, especially with their Jaguar warriors. Very, very accurate. Trebuchets. I was wondering how long it was going to take blue to make trebs. That's good for blue. I would suggest waiting for 4 before you fight. It will be awkward, though, because I'm not sure where the trebs can sit. I feel like they can't sit here. Unless he's got siege engineers, which he does have. Okay. I think with siege engineers, you might actually be able to hit that. This is nice, but I don't really expect blue to start, or red, excuse me, to start spamming hussars in here, which would really be what you want. You just immediately just set a gather point and click a bunch of hussars. I really don't expect that. Also, both players very close to the famous 37 farm build order that Fat Slob is known for. Blue, a little too noob for that, is at 36, and we have 33 for red, but it's very close. Very rare for us to see that. And this was a nice try from blue, but obviously with no map control over here, it was never going to happen. I think after red finishes this stone, that is it. Yep, that is it. And no relics. So if you're blue, you can just sit back here even longer if you want. And just wait till you're at 200 pop before you fight it back. Ah, blue spotted this. Okay, so blue spotted this, sees the buildings. So naturally sends everything. But red's not really pushing. Oh, Ottoman army, I want you so badly to do well in this game because you've got style, my friend. Look how cool those skirms look. You've got style. You play with the Turks. Your name is Ottoman army. You know, you want someone like this to have success. And against the Roman Empire as well, I mean... Romans weren't exactly Aztecs, but it'd be so nice. But to have success, if you're making army, as she will sneak down here, you really need to get some upgrades. Oh, she's going to die to the skirmishers. She's got no chance of survival. That's actually good for red because red is so fixated on this villager that red won't do anything else. That's not going to happen. That skirm will track it the whole way in. Actually, the barracks are kind of blocking. It might forget about her. No, it won't. I don't think it will because blue will have vision on this. So she will die one way or the other. Still watching just to verify. And it seems like the castle will get the final shot. She's trying to blend in like she's one of the farmers, but now she's dead. Siege Engineers gives your trebs +1 range. And look what Siege Engineers has done. That said, red was able to take a lot of the stone here. And red now has Janissaries, and they're elite Janissaries, and he's shooting down the trebs. So we'll lose the castle, but blue could lose more trebs if blue doesn't get out of here. And, oh, God, the Cavalier. I mean, he can run around, guys. Remember, he can run around. And the Cavalier are just getting cleared up by skirmishers. I always call them the Aflac skirms. It's at Lattle. It's not Aflac at all. This is not sponsored at all. I mean, I'll say again why the upgrades are important here. You're talking Pierce Armor on the Cavalier. You've got a base of 2 Pierce Armor on a Knight. In Castlage, the potential to get it up to 4. In Imp, the potential to get it up to 6, 7, 6. 6, 7? I think 7. Anyways, you also need Bloodlines for more HP. Doesn't have Bloodlines. Cavalier would have 140 HP with Bloodlines. You'd have more HP, and then you'd have more Pierce Armor. Skirmishers would be doing 1 damage a hit. Actually, I think technically, our Aztec Skirm's the exception. No. So 1 damage a hit, whereas now they're doing, let's see, 8 attack versus 2 pierce, 5 damage a hit. Which is just so bad. The way skirms are supposed to operate is they're supposed to be, what works for them is their tankiness when archers attack them. That's why they can kill archers and some bonus damage. But to have such a low attack do damage against Cavalier is just a painful sight to see. I was wrong earlier, by the way. I like how blue is going to waste that trap. I was wrong. There is still gold here, so there's about 1,600 gold there. And I feel like as long as red realizes upgrades are a thing in due time, this is still very possible. Especially with how much blue is sitting back. But look at blue. Blue's got some rams, and those rams are filled up with jags. Yo, the style points! Yes, I like it. Doesn't really know about anything over here, but maybe wants to make a push. The monks are now healing up the Cavalier and the Janissaries. That is some low-E legend stuff. If I've seen... Oh, we got Bloodlines, and we got Husbandry. Okay, and now we have Hussars. So pretty soon, I think red is going to be at 200 pop military. It's sad, though, that only, like, a couple of the stables are producing. Maybe his zoom level's like this, so when he selects stuff, it's off. This stuff is off screen. Please notice you need blacksmith upgrades. Please. Yeah, baby! Multiple blacksmiths coming in! Yeah! Woo! Alright, forging. Now, there's a couple round of upgrades that are needed here. But man, oh man, what a difference this is going to make. I like this. Alright, now, again, red's going to need to remember. What I'd really like to see from red is straight Hussar. I think Hussar is the key. It only costs food. It destroys skirmishers. And while I think that everything he's making, except for Janissaries, gets wrecked by Jags, it's still probably your best unit to go for with those resources. Blue, though, not looking to give the opponent the time, is going to go for a sneaky ram raid. The llamas! Don't tell me red's going to scout this with llamas. I don't even know if llamas transfer ownership to rams, honestly. Look, blue's going to find out. Yep, they do. He even hopped out with the Jag just to just to take the llamas. Maybe he didn't realize. He like, oh, these things don't fight. Right, okay. Oh my god, please move with the llamas. Please move with the llamas. Ah, that's so disappointing. They're very wise llamas. They recognize that war is a terrifying thing. Okay, here come the rams. Choo, 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 choo. I don't think red ever saw this. Like, if red scouting llamas noticed this, I'll lose my mind. But anyways, he ended up having production over here at the same time. But having infantry inside the rams means that the rams actually attack a little faster, plus siege rams are insane. And then when the ram goes down, the jaguars pop out. And these jags are fully upgraded. The hussars are far from it. So this whole position's going to be lost. Meanwhile, we have a massive battle over here, and blue is going to lose this position. I shouldn't really say the position, but is going to lose the skirmishers, certainly. Who's going to be better off? Well, I think the answer's simple. I think the Romans. The Jaguar warriors wreck everything. Take out those buildings. And then there's still a good layer of wall here. Red probably now realizes, though, that there is a hole. is now sending these Cavalier across the entire map to deal with the Jags. We might need to wait another 30 minutes for more blacksmith upgrades to come in, and the Hussars retreat back to their monk to heal up. And blue is going to hop back in. I mean, it feels like with the numbers red has, he can deal with this. Kinda. But I have not... A big reason I'm able to see who's going to win fights, guys, is because I've seen the same type of fight a lot of times, and I have not seen low upgrade Cavalier Hussar against full upgrade Jags too frequently. Again, I think the Cavalier would win the fight if they had their full upgrades. Without the upgrades, it might be a bit closer. Jags they're very situational unique unit, let's put it that way. They don't cost a lot of gold, which is what's nice. They have all that attack. They're generally weak against ranged units, and yeah, okay, red wins that. This is crazy campy for blue, though. He's going to chop through here. If red can try and send this force, like, look at those Jags. If he can try and send this force in here and kill... How many vills would that be? 40 vills? That would definitely add up in the long, long run. Gunpowder, not so good against dudes with pointy sticks. You would think that maybe the guns would win there. Blue clicked the trebs, and red is running away now. Not the position you'd want to be in if you have these skirmishers in your blue. And blue will lose more army again. Unable to take out the treb. Just the inexperience we have here, right? Trebs actually have very high pierce armor. And maybe blue feels like these skirms are OP because of how many hussars have died to them, but that's not the case. These Janissaries are no joke, despite lacking upgrades. No armor on them. Red with only 3,000 golds. Blue looking to extend the walls, and everyone in the town is in on it. Have you ever seen quite a sight as this? It's only fair. The wall protects all of them. It's only fair that they all would build the wall. Wow. This is some great teamwork over here from blue. Okay, and we had a little treb cut through the wall there. And the hussars now come in to take a look and see what's in here. I wonder if red will ever notice this. Oh no, these villagers are stranded. These villagers are stranded. Here comes red. Blue is massing a bunch of elite eagles. That is so many. It's a heavy gold unit. That is very expensive and certainly has the gold for it, but still. Also not great against Janissaries, but I think with the numbers, the eagles will clear because they have so much attack, and Janissaries also have no armor. Great job from blue, who now buys stone. So, great recognition for blue to realize he needed to buy the stone there. And here comes blue. Now, the hussars are a great meat shield. The Janissaries are going to get some solid hits in from behind. But we've got so many eagles, and the eagles will shred the Janissaries. With that much attack, it is, what is it, 3 hits to kill a Janissary? Actually, the Janissaries held on a little better than I expected there. No upgrades. And now here come the hussars, and blue could lose this castle. Let's see, though. The siege ram's going after the trebs. This is a crazy battle. It really feels like red needs to take out that castle to feel any confidence after this, and he will not. Wow, that was sick from blue. That was honestly so impressive. And really good play from both of them. Now, I've said many times, if you go in with 4 trebs in an attack like that, you're going to actually take out the castle. I'm not sure if my theory on that was be correct in that instance, but I think it was close. Still have the monk healing and waving his little book here. And we have heated shot from red, who probably doesn't know what that does, but did he just block the escape? Oh, I thought he did that on purpose. That would have been epic. Okay, unfortunately, I think the old man will die. And now red has to regroup. Did red notice this? Didn't see this. Might actually see it after 1 or 2 more trees are chopped through. And hey, we got more upgrades, people! Yeah, I like it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really sad to still see no armor upgrades. But you know what's confusing? Janissaries don't shoot any arrows. And yet, they're affected by archer armor. So that might not be something that, that this player is aware of. Janissaries don't do ranged damage. They don't benefit from fletching or bodkin or any of the attack. I mean, you still would probably want that for your castles, but... Okay, like I said, red might notice this at some point, and now red sees this. Guys, we're going to run out of wood in this game. Honestly, look, blue is running out. I mean, he's got the wood banked. But look at this. Cavalier come over. The Roman Empire is just so hesitant to ever move out and so terrified of these attacks from the Ottoman that it's beginning to feel like maybe the Ottoman army can actually do this in the long run. Again, with more upgrades, I'm going to feel better and better about the situation, but... Okay, blue's going to try and make a push over here, it seems like. Red is massing more and more hussars. What about hand cannons? No, what I said applies to all gunpowder. All gunpowder is affected by the archer armor, but not by the archer attack. And that's something that I wouldn't expect a lot of like 500 Eagle players to really recognize. Now, what you can do is, if you're really unsure, is you can click a unit type, see the stats, right? And then you can research an upgrade and see if those numbers change. But that's not something people are used to. So like here, you have the melee armor is the first one, and then the pierce armor is the second. And the plus is what the blacksmith upgrades gave you. So like hussars have 0 melee base armor, and then they got +2 from the upgrades, right? And you would have 7 total pierce if the final armor upgrade came in on the hussars. That's a lot of pikes. That is a lot of pikes. I want to see red go for a raid. I think we might. Red's starting to build up over here now. Lots of production buildings. Pikemen go in, guys. But the pikemen get mopped. And now the hussars are here. These rams could go down as well. 9,000 gold for blue, but blue can't seem to push. And if this map was arena, for example, if this was high-level arena, Turks are very good because of this type of composition giving the Aztecs problems. But you really need to have the hussars in front because, oh, goodness, you're not going to have gold. Oh, let him through. There you go. Still very worth it for blue. He just took out so many gold units. And for now, anyways, he's got plenty of wood and plenty of food to make more skirms. You think he's getting infantry armor for Janissaries? I think he just goes through and clicks stuff. I don't think he necessarily... Yeah, maybe. I mean, do they look like infantry? I don't know. More barracks. Murder holes! Okay, so he went home. He clicked everything. Murder holes, fortified wall, arrow slits, bombard tower, ballistics, heated shot, treadmill crane, and then masonry. Some of those upgrades are useful here, but the most exciting ones are these. Plate mail armor, plate barding armor, and then blast furnace. Echo says, hey T90, I'm 1170 elo. I have issues with maintaining unit production in late game. Any advice? Well, the obvious one is produce more military buildings. I think the next thing that comes to mind is take initiative. A lot of people struggle with producing because they have not taken initiative and they invite pressure and then they freak out or they don't know what to do or they don't have time. Take a little bit more initiative. Be a teensy bit more aggressive. Even if it's like, I don't know, sending a small army and attacking a wall so your main army can push, you know? The third thing is you could experiment with using select all hotkeys, like select all stables or select all archery ranges, and queuing units with the hotkeys. In my case, I control group my most important group of buildings to a control group, and I will use that so I can be microing and I can set a control group, set a gather point, and produce. Yeah, hopefully those tips help you. Blue is going to line the walls with siege workshops now. Again, I'm telling you, though, like, blue has a lot of villagers that aren't collecting resources. And red has more long-term access to wood right now. And this is going to be a monster push. Blue is just sitting back so much. And now that everything's fully upgraded here, red is completely out of gold. It's unfortunate because so many of the techs he got here were, I think, cost gold. Like, ballistics I actually like. Actually, I don't remember if heated shot costs gold. I hope it doesn't. Yeah, this is going to be a mega battle over here. Like, blue's also thinking, let's run to this side. He feels like this is not something he can contest. But guys, red is ready. Okay, so we've got 38 eagles. That's 2,200 HP. Here you've got Cavalier and Hussars, 2,200 HP. Very close. Eagles have more attack. So the Eagles should do a slightly better job here. You know, heated shot. You know, again, a tech that doesn't really benefit anyone here. If red can run in here at the same time, like if he could run in with a Hussar raid or something and distract blue, I think blue might be in trouble. But there's a lot of rams here for red. If this does not work, or if there's a pikeman follow-up, this could be disastrous for red. This is the worst start to the fight. He's not fighting altogether. He's freaking. He doesn't know what to do. The panic is set in, and the Roman Empire with their eagles, they are dominating right now. Red's got more Hussars in queue, but not enough Hussars. These Eagles are going to win the fight. This could be the fight we look back at and say that this is what won blue the game. I mean, obviously getting the Relics earlier is what could have won blue the game. But yeah, this is just bad and so good from blue. And Roman Empire is laughing in the face of the Ottoman army right now with the 11. I think blue knows. Yeah, like, you don't have gold, buddy. I have gold. And he drops the 11. All in good spirits, of course. And here come the Hussars, and Red's happy about this. Red's like, I don't need gold. And now all the Eagles are going to die. So Red ran across the map. Red, I would love you forever if you respond with your own 11. You have to act like you're in a dominant position right now. You're not actually. Especially now that blue is making pikemen over here. This is going to become more problematic. But if you drop your own 11 at him right now, that'd be so great. Okay. Yeah, again, you've got 4+8 pikes, which is a counter unit against Hussar. And oh god. Great job from blue, honestly. Like, I've been saying how passive blue has been, but he really went for it there. I thought he was just going to sit back and wait for red to come in. Great job from blue. And Sun Tzu would say, to appear strong when you are weak. Exactly. And we've had a lot of that from red. He has appeared strong when he has been weak because of not getting any relics. I think the walling in and of itself was probably fine. But relics become a very important thing if the game's going to go late, especially if you pick Turks. This is probably a position that red finds himself in an awful lot. Do you guys see what red has right now? He's got 67 Hussars in queue. But it's still so interesting because he's only queuing it out of certain numbers of buildings. Like, I'm trying to figure this out. Like, this is producing this. This is not. This is. This is. This isn't. This is. I think he's selecting the stables individually. Would that be a proper guess? Instead of double-clicking and then setting a gather point? Like, that's the only explanation I can really think of. By the way, this looks really cool, and I didn't realize it till now. I wish when you sent people to the roof, you could see them come up through the ladders. I'm kidding. That's not really that important to me. Your best option is Hussar spam, and if you want gold, you can sell wood. He currently has 0 lumberjacks. These villagers have been idle for a long time. He's had wood here, hasn't really corrected that, and is now down 50 villagers as well. It's like red has forgotten eco exists, as this villager is this is just out of the blue, just repairing. Okay. Well, blue is extending the walls, just making massive layers of walls right now, and is now going to send eagles and rams. And yeah, I think this is where it ends for red. Seems to me like red does realize that the walls are coming up. Might actually get through this. Oh, nope. I don't know what happened there. He could have ran through. What about over here? Run through. Bam. Okay, so that's going to be a lot of dead vills. But how do you stop pikeman ram? I don't think you do. And blue can always make more rams. Blue can always make more pikes. I think red needed to go for the kill. The whole strategy was revolving around super late game. And Turks without gold, not so good in late game. Whereas Aztecs with those relics, are just insane. So the only thing you can really do now if you're red is distract blue by raiding him. Break a hole through here. Run in with 20 hussars. Hope blue reacts. Right now, though, red is the one doing the reacting. Is also running out of food, though a lot of hussars are on the way. And red is the population lead. Blue isn't producing anything right now. What in the world, man? I mean, I talked about it. I said how, like, you don't actually have halb. If your blue wants to make a gate in the enemy's wall. Talk about bold. I talked about how hussars can trade pretty decently in some situations against Aztecs. Aztecs don't really have a unit with a ton of tankiness to them besides the siege. Whereas hussars, they have more HP than the Jaguar Warrior, more HP than the Eagles, more HP than the Pikes. And Blue's Gate, he actually clears that, and Blue's Gate's going to go up. Now, I guess some of Red's army now is skirmishers, which don't even have fletching. So, not a spot you'd want to be in. But 60 more hussars in queue, and this will be cleared. Okay, you've seen the whole game now, most of you. Who do you want to win this? Are you guys still cheering for red? Those of you who said red earlier? Or are you shifting over to blue? I think everyone wants that underdog story, right? And I still think a lot of people, including myself, really want to see red do well because of the fact that he is the lower rated player. He is named Ottoman Army, and he's playing as the Turks. I mean, that's still such a great story here. Like, ideally what you do is you run in with these hussars, and then you have, like, another group on this side that breaks through on this side at the same moment, or over here. Like, honestly, it was so good from blue to get these walls down because he doesn't have to worry about that, and he could just react where it matters. But he dropped to the 11 not too long ago. He's going to make pikes, but guys, I don't know if blue can stop this right now. This castle's going to fall eventually. This castle's probably going to fall eventually. As for the others, I'm not sure. It looks like blue is now producing a lot. Yeah, blue's kicked it into overdrive. Red, you've got to get your act together here, and the biggest thing is you need to make sure your hussars, the gather point is set here. All right, here we have it. Also got to appreciate how there's a monk in there. I feel like red plays this game so much like how some of us used to play, or still do play. Who knows? Crossbow seemed like a panicky click. Arbalest hasn't been researched yet. This castle's going to go down. You see blue, he's got some stuff over here. Blue's going to go for the kill. We'll see if that actually works. Here comes the pikeman. Now, here's where the problem sets in. Is you've got to... This castle will fall, okay? And now, pull the hussars back here. Red, pull some of your hussars back. Okay. Not really doing it. The castle's going to fall for blue. Oh, there's only 2 trebs firing. That's why it still hasn't gone down. It will go down. The hussars run away. The janissaries now take out the pikes. And then you can use your trebs to go after the next castle. But look at blue's population. His army pop is so high right now. And the skirmishers do like 1 damage to these pikemen. But then again, I guess the skirms do 1 damage to the hussars. So a whole lot of useless army out here. And who's going to come out on top? And what's the production going to be like? Blue is going for the biggest ram push of his life. Reckless abandonment here. He's just like, forget about my base. I want to go kill red. That's so many rams. Oh my god. That is so many rams. That is 1/8 of his possible population in rams. What if he gets housed? Oh my god. How many houses does he have? Watch his pop. Oh, his pop space. He doesn't have pop space. He doesn't have pop space. The Ottoman army could do it. And will the Ottoman army have enough to survive against the ram push? I think he will, because blue can't produce any more army to support this. Wow, this has been one of the best low elo games. Can I say ever? Can I say ever? Because of the storyline and because of the game? I think ever. Definitely. There's some recency bias here, but ever is the thing that came to mind, so I'm going to stick with it. This has been really good. It's been competitive. It's been back and forth. We've had unique strats. We've had unique names. This has been if not one of the best ever, one of the best in a very long time on the channel. And will Red be able to keep it together right now? Because he's at the limit, guys. He is at the limit. It's very possible he loses this. In fact, I think you should say he should lose this. Blue needs to recover against this, deal with this, and then the game's won. You can see he's desperate now. He's using the skirms against the trebuchet. And he will actually possibly take out the trebuchets with those skirmishers. It's very close. It looks like he will take one out. Meaning there will be one remaining. Choo! Choo! 21 siege rams with some eagle support and potentially more. Also, Blue is relocating the relics right now. That's some sick stuff right there. He's also making some more units here. His castle will fall. And if his castle falls, all these skirms are going to get mopped up by the hussars. I mean, they already are, but the castle fire was helping a lot there. And now here comes the ram rush. Okay, so you need to have so many hussars at home right now if you're Blue. You got to have like 40 minimum. I think 40 and you're good. As he just sold his food, did he notice? He's sending these hussars back into the main fight. He might not notice this, actually. He does have this group of 21. And I'm sure both players are very distracted at the moment. You can kind of sense that. Okay, so the hussars go in. Now, the castle fire is huge, but there's no fletching. But if the eagles are taken care of and a lot of the eagles aren't fighting, then the rams will go down to the hussars. Granted, buildings will still probably go down. Villagers dying, skirmishers dying. Army count still extremely high for red. Castles have stayed up so far. Villagers, I think, abandoning the area now to go over here. There's no kings or anything to snipe. This isn't a community game. And it looks like this castle will stay up. The castle actually stays up. And Blue, at 50 military, needs to look at his base right now and figure something out. I would say produce a lot of elite eagles with these resources. Go for it. You need something quick. Because you're falling apart, my friend. He's trying to relocate the relics, and now he hasn't been able to get the new monastery up. He's actually making new buildings. Which is not a bad thing in and of itself, but... I mean, even if Red gets one relic, that would be huge for him, right? Oh my word. Yeah, Blue, I think, is like... This is like a diseased leg for him now. He's going to cut it off. He's not even going to try and save it. And he's just focusing over here. And yeah, you can see it. He's bringing his rams over. He's making his pikes. He's got the resources. You can't say he doesn't. Oh, holy cow. And then Red's like, okay, maybe we should reboom and add more vills. And I love that. I really think that Red needs to get back to like 100 vills here. What a sick game, man. So good job from Blue. I know this looks bad for Blue right now, and there's a lot of stuff that's going to get worse, like the house situation. But at least Blue is correcting that. Blue's making a new monastery to get the relics again. Blue could have easily lost all the relics. Honestly, I feel like a lot of high elo players would have lost all the relics. Blue's making skirms, making pikes, and is getting ready. I don't know if this is going to be for a push or what, but Blue is not finished yet. Red only has 9 on food, so eventually hussars will just not work. Only 4,000 food compared to 25,000. So, this is nuts. Now, what I really hope Red does is I really hope he sells some stuff at the market to get enough gold for one relic. Or one monk, sorry. Or he finds this one, and he grabs it, and he takes it to, like, this corner. Oh, he's got the monastery. Yeah, just take it there, because then you can get gold from that. And look at the relic gold if you're curious. 14,000 relic gold for Blue in this game. That is why Aztecs are good with relics. And here comes some eagles to raid. I don't understand how the eagles made it past these hussars. Are these on no attack stance? What did I miss? And here comes some pikes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Red. Uh-oh. Blue got a good early engagement there. A lot of those hussars went down. I think it's unlikely that Blue actually clears this force because the Janissaries are owning. This group alone has 128 kills. But a sign that Blue is here to stay, my friends, as he is making more pikemen. So if you are a Red fan, if you're rooting for the Roman Empire, or sorry, Ottoman Empire, I think you should think twice about celebrating. Because blue is still in this. He can make wave after wave after wave after wave after wave of skirms and pikes. He can continue this forever. That is not the case for red. Red also has to get back in business here with the farming eco. Maybe needs to make a new gate. There's late game Age of Empires is crazy, man. 160 pop for both. Blue with plenty of units in queue. I'm very worried for Ottoman Empire now. Again, I need to congratulate blue for recognizing the importance of the relics. Red might not even know what those do, to be honest. But look at this. He's even going to run in and try and steal this one real quick. Red's like, no, it's mine. Thank you. Okay, these barracks will now be used. And the Hussars are going to get owned. The Hussars are going to get owned. Say goodbye to your Hussars, Red. And now there's pikemen, and now there's skirms behind. And guys, I think this is GG. Because Red cannot afford to make more Janissaries. And if he cannot afford to make more Janissaries, I don't care how many Hussars he can make. Blue can always make more pikemen. There was just no way. The Janissary ball was so important to those fights. And obviously, needing food is a concern too, but I think losing this many Janissaries is just going to be so hard to come back from. Unless he starts to reboom. Like, if he starts to add more vills and add more farms and do all of that, then maybe. But I just don't see that being a possibility. As, man, good micro from Red. I don't see that being a possibility for a player at this elo. Less than 100 pop now for the Ottoman army. It can't make any more trebuchets. And you're going to see the rest of these Janissaries get taken out by these eagles. And there's plenty more resources where that comes from for blue as he deleted his own wall on this side. He's now this is great. He's hitting the wall, but because of the splash damage, also damaging the castle, which is why you never want to place castle quite like that. And while it does look like Red is reacting, I don't think it's going to be with enough or in time. I think Ottoman army should accept. Well, maybe doesn't want to, but maybe should consider accepting that this is GG. What a game, man. But, you know, if we learned anything, we really learned that Turks struggle without gold. And we learned that Aztecs are great if they get the relics. Also, the importance of production buildings and keeping your villager count high. Something that Blue did a great job with. Making new production buildings. Not that Red didn't. But, like, I really thought he was dead there. He recovered super nicely. And now you have villagers fighting against the Rams. That's not a great sign. I think at one point, Blue had, like, 90 vills, 100 vills? I don't remember what his max was. It had a lot of villagers, and now has so much wood and food that even though the main base is pretty much gone. As we see 17. Oh, God, what's the 17 taunt again? I just love how, if you could consider the smack talk, it's with the taunts. Right? Because, like, in present-day gaming, you go, oh, it's such a noob and all that weak stuff. Give me some taunt action. 17. That's not Nice Town, I'll take it, is it? That might be Nice Town, I take it, because 12 is, I think, I'm being rushed. What is 17? Please tell me that's you played 2 hours to die like this. Because that's perfect. We're coming in on the 2-hour mark. Now, Roman Empire, don't be a... He says, get out. Okay, he wants Red to resign. He feels like he's won it. It is good to be the king. And okay, we got some trash talking now. And Red with the classic. You gotta love it. He says, I'm bored, noob. Bye. I'm bored. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the fact that you're completely dead, right? It's the fact that you're bored because the opponent wasn't good enough for you or something that makes yourself feel better. Well, it makes sense that the Roman Empire and Ottoman army wouldn't necessarily get along, right? So maybe they're doing that for historical accuracy. I don't know if that was something that was said at the end of the conclusion of a large battle in the past, but maybe it was. Who knows? I think that was a great game. The worst part about that game was just the fact that these two didn't like exchange some words and say, dude, what an epic game. That's the worst part about it. it wasn't an awful thing. You don't necessarily have to be best friends with your enemies. That doesn't make sense, but that was a great game. Oh my goodness. Woo-wee! Lessons for Red. If you want to wall up, buddy, go ahead and wall up, but maybe get some relics. Even if you had 2 relics, that would be like maybe 10,000 gold for blue. And then 3,000 or 4,000 for you. I'm trying to do the math with the fact that Aztecs get more gold, but you know, you had more wood, you had more food from the Roman Empire. Of course, the gold was mainly there from the relics, which is insane. But also, the upgrades were very delayed for Red. That's something that Red could have improved on. But what I think is so cool and so unique is the fact that Ottoman army always plays with Turks. That is so cool. And from what I've heard from chat is that Roman Empire will go through different civilizations from time to time and experiment. Now, it obviously takes an extra level of dedication to play with Turks and be Ottoman army all the time. I'm sure you might get bored if you played with Byzantines all the time, for example. But that was a fun one, man. That was a fun one. And what I wanted to look at was the villager high. Yeah. Whoa, crazy. So a total of 118 villagers created in that game. A total of 119 for Ottoman army. So that was very close. And I guess it was just the efficiency of it, right? Or what they had max at one time. Maybe it was 118 versus 106 for a while, which would have added up there for blue. That kind of makes sense. I mean, he had so much more wood. He had a little bit more food. At 8K seems like a little bit with that type of a game. And, I mean, he brought in the same amount of gold naturally. It was simply the fact that he had the relics that brought him the 15K. Alex feels attacked. He says, hey, I always play Byzantines. I didn't mean to attack anyone. I didn't mean to attack anyone. But, wow, I'm excited to send this one off to YouTube. I hope people really enjoyed. You know, this is the beauty of doing stuff live, right? It's not like this was submitted to me and I had some people review it or I reviewed it and knew it was going to happen. I saw the names. This was a ranked game. This was not a lobby browser game. So the odds of like the Ottoman Empire facing up against the Roman Empire in ranked is already slim. But then the game ended up being incredible and turned into almost a 2-hour game. That was beautiful. I don't know if I've ever seen a game, high elo or low elo, where we've had names clash like this. I don't know if we've ever had that before. And I've seen a lot of games, and while I mentioned in this cast that my memory sucks with some things, with Age of Empires and my content, normally it's pretty good. So, enjoyable. Enjoyable to say the least. Congratulations to the Roman Empire. You might have cheated a little bit with the Aztecs. And Ottoman army, I guess I'll have to keep my eye on for next time.